Well, a league source broke the news to me on Wednesday that Jadeveon Clowney is in Dallas visiting the Dallas Cowboys on Wednesday. You heard the news first on ENN. That's the Exhibit News Network, home of the Exhibit. Now, one thing I know from talking to Jadeveon Clowney, the Rock Hill, South Carolina native, is that he was very excited going back to the Panthers last season in his 11th year. But I also know there were aspects of that homecoming that didn't go as expected, homecoming via North Carolina. But nonetheless, obviously, the Carolina Panthers are still building. It's just difficult when you start off the season 3-11. But nonetheless, Clowney was able to have 5.5 sacks with the Panthers last season, ahead of having 9.5 sacks with the Ravens the year before. So yes, Clowney is 32, but he has told me at various points this offseason that he's continuing with his mid-morning to mid-afternoon workouts and keeping himself in shape. Now, even though the Cowboys did get rid of a generational pass rush talent already in Micah Parsons, they were still able to produce the 5th most quarterback pressures in week 1 against the Eagles. Where you still need a player like Clowney is because they were not able to finish on those pressures. The Eagles were still moving the chains, particularly from the quarterback position and his legs. Not only did they just sack Jalen Hurts just one time, Jalen Hurts had 7 rushing first downs, tied with Jets running back Breece Hall for the most of any player last week in week 1. The good news is that the Cowboys were still good in coverage with Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, and company. So there's part of me that still doesn't want to even judge the Cowboys defense yet, because you're not going to be facing the Eagles every week, and the talent that they have is just somewhat of an anomaly. You have the number 1 player as voted by his NFL brethren in Saquon Barkley, combined with, a Super Bowl winning top dual threat quarterback in the league. So that's just difficult. Now, while they did allow the 5th most rushing yards to the Eagles last week, it's not going to be the same against the Giants. On one hand, Russell Wilson is just not Jalen Hurts. You got a 36-year-old compared to a 27-year-old. I'm not saying that Russell Wilson is not going to flash and have his moments, but he's just not going to have that same juice as Jalen Hurts. And second of all, just in looking at the Giants' rushing production last week, as far as what they put on film, just not as potent. They only produced 74 net rushing yards. And the last point I want to make is that Jadeveon Clowney is right there. He's got a home in Texas, so you've got that proximity factor. And 2, it does give Clowney an opportunity to have a better homecoming experience to some degree than he had in Carolina by going there to Dallas. I'm Josina Anderson on the Exhibit News Network.